You found The Secret Life of Contracts, where Olga Mack and John Lindsey reveal the good, bad, and ugly of agreements across all industries.
Welcome, everyone. It's Olga Mack and John Lindsey here again with you guys for The Secret Life of Contracts, where we talk pop culture, we talk contracts, we talk legal, we talk everything you want to hear about, stories that you probably didn't know about some really major brands. And we bring to light how important some of these contracts are with some amazing stories that you're going to enjoy. So today, we were just having this conversation before we started. Olga was telling me that her husband's a McDonald's guy, and I was telling her that I haven't had McDonald's in quite a while. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about McDonald's. We're going to talk about Big Macs. We're going to talk about the fact that the Big Mac didn't come from McDonald's corporate innovation team. It didn't come from focus groups or national marketing campaigns. It came from one franchise owner in Pennsylvania who looked at his local competition and thought, my customers need more than a thin patty and a pickle. Olga, talk to me here.
Yeah, and that's where the story gets interesting because his franchise agreement was crystal clear. Follow the corporate menu, no interpretive dance, or risk being in breach.
Wow. And so, in other words, what you're saying is no Big Mac allowed. No Big Mac allowed.
Yeah, that's the part that people miss. This wasn't just sort of a marketing risk. It was a legal one. In fact, it was a contractual one. One of the most successful menu items in history almost got killed by the same contract that gave him the right to run McDonald's in the first place. And look, I mean, you said my husband is a fan. Yes, he is a fan of Big Mac. We have very deep discussion when we travel because somehow the gravitational pull toward the golden arches works for him every time. I'm not a fan. I am sort of, I can live without it. And we have a very deep discussion about what we should eat and shouldn't eat. And I can tell you the reason he married me is not for that lecture.
Well, here we go. So, what is it, Olga? We're still going to talk about the secret life of contracts. Let's do it.
Yeah, the McDonald's model in 1960s was all about consistency. Lots and lots of consistency. Same menu, same quality, same process. The golden arches meant the exact same burger, whether you were in Pittsburgh or Pasadena or Paris. Guess what? There is a McDonald's in Paris.
I've eaten over at one in London years and years ago and thought it tasted better than here. But that's exactly the point, though, right? Is the consistency. It was enforced not just through training, it was enforced through the contract. And so franchise agreements in this case spelled out exactly what you could do and how you could sell it.
Yes, and franchise agreements are known for that. And this made sense from, brand control standpoint. That's one of the reasons McDonald's has a very strong brand. If you're promising a predictable experience, you can't have one franchise selling lobster rolls while another one sells hot dogs. By the way, if it actually did sell lobster rolls, I might have been a fan. But I don't think they want my money.
Well, the problem is that same clause, it didn't allow market-specific innovation. So if your local competitors had something customers wanted, you couldn't create your own version of it without corporate approval. And that approval was slow and rarely came, Olga.
Yeah, Jim Delegati was a creative man. He saw a gap. Today, we would call him an entrepreneur. Competitors were serving bigger burgers, and his customers were going elsewhere for them. So he decided to create his own. Of course, it makes sense. A double-decker burger with creamy sauce.
Well, and that burger, as we know, was an instant hit in his store. Sales went up, customers came back more often, and more importantly, the word spread about how good that sandwich was.
Yes, and corporate's first reaction, let's just say it wasn't a celebration. It wasn't in the range of excitement. It was in the range of concern. They were worried it would slow down service, require new ingredients, and dilute the brand promise of a simple, uniform menu.
Yeah, and that's what kind of brings us to our conversation today. Olga, the contract rigidity showed its teeth. So the agreement was designed to protect the brand, but it also created an incentive for corporate to say no, even if it was a good idea. Go figure.
Go figure. And from legal perspective, McDonald's was acting rationally. They were protecting their core. They built a global reputation on speed, consistency, and predictability.
Yeah, but there's always a but. Here's the paradox. The same thing that builds a brand can over time make it vulnerable.
Exactly. Rigid control works when, market is static. But when customer tastes shift or when there is a competition, the lack of flexibility, guess what? That, my friend, will become a liability.
Well, and for franchise businesses, that is especially dangerous. The people closest to the customers, the franchisees, are the ones that most likely spot changes first. And so if your contract shuts down their ability to respond, then you're flying blind.
So Jim, being an entrepreneurial man he didn't ask for approval. He didn't ask for permission. And guess what? His strategy was, I guess, to ask for forgiveness. And so he quietly kept selling his burger. It was a risk, but the results spoke for themselves. Sales were strong enough that corporate eventually had to pay attention.
Yeah, and there's a business lesson tucked in here, right? So if you're going to lock down your contracts, you need to give yourself and your partners a way to unlock them when reality changes, right? Because it does.
Yes, that's the thing about reality. It's stubborn. It doesn't negotiate. It has a mind of its own. And by 1968, McDonald's corporate was running tests of the Big Mac in multiple markets. And guess what? Jim was not wrong. The numbers were undeniable.
Well, it's amazing because I'm a quarter pounder guy back when I used to eat McDonald's. So the Big Mac didn't really excite me that much, but you couldn't argue with the results, right? So they standardized the recipe. They created training for every location. They rolled it out nationwide. And guess what? Within a year, the Big Mac, part of the core menu at McDonald's, right?
Yes, it went from a potential breach of contract, a legal issue, to a $1 billion brand asset. Whoa, a business asset.
It's crazy, isn't it? And the irony in there, same headquarters that initially resisted the change, eventually embraced it so completely that the Big Mac became what? Part of their global brand identity. It's what they're associated with now, right?
Exactly. And this is a great lesson. This is a turning point that every leader needs to recognize. When protecting the brand shifts from saying no to enabling what works, it works. So let's make this concrete because, great story. And Jim is sort of what entrepreneurs are. And also, the story has contract lessons. It has a number of them. One, define core versus custom in your agreement. Protect the non-negotiables like brand standards, quality control, and core items on the menu, but keep the but in it. Allow room for localized products that meet market needs. And so guess what? The McDonald's in Paris actually sells macaroons. It's true. You won't find it in Pasadena and you won't find it in Pittsburgh, but you will find it in Paris. 2, create a formal innovation pathway. Your contract should spell out exactly how a franchisee or a partner can propose, test, and scale new ideas. Include timelines, metrics, and who makes these decisions and how to streamline them. And I guess the third lesson is build flexibility triggers. And we've been coming back to the theme now many times. If a local innovation meets agreed performance threshold, it should automatically be eligible for wider rollout. You need flexibility when you run a business.
Give the people what they want, Olga. That's it. So, and from the sales and growth side, we've got some lessons there too. So, Your partners are your R&D department. So franchisees and resellers, they see changes in customer behavior first. They're on the front lines. Use them, right? Reward the innovators, like Mr. Jim there. Make sure that the contract includes incentives. So they've got royalties, recognition, profit sharing for ideas that can go system wide at some point. And then lastly, measure the speed to market, right? In fast moving markets, the ability to act quickly on a proven idea can be more valuable than the perfect plan sometimes, Olga.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It is also a proof that sometimes the most valuable ideas start outside of your official playbook. You should allow flexibility and evolution to take you toward the better streams.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If McDonald's had enforced that to the letter of the law, they would have protected their menu and lost billions in potential revenue. They might not even be McDonald's right now, right? The Big Mac is their thing.
Yeah, it might have improved my marriage, but instead, they eventually adopted and decided to keep the corporate profits going. Good for them. And in doing so, they reinforce their brand in a way that is, not a rigid no, never could, but a more flexible adaptation to local customs.
Yeah, and absolutely something we've seen over and over in the episodes that we've done here together. Olga, the takeaway, really simple. Contracts, they should protect the brand, but never, never prevent it from evolving and growing, right?
Yeah, and I can't believe it, but I think my husband will quote me what I'm about to say because the real legacy of the Big Mac isn't that it's just a sandwich. It is a lesson in how to write agreements that leave room for flexibility and innovation and the next big thing.
Amazing story. I'm still a quarter pounder with cheese guy, but whatever. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all, listen, this was another amazing episode where we had an opportunity to talk about something that everybody knows, everybody's familiar with around the world, and yet nobody probably knew how impactful that contract could be and how it could have went the other way. These are the kinds of stories that Olga and I continue to uncover. Join us next time for The Secret Life of Contracts, y'all.